simamieni maadili haya.
Engineers Registration Board and other institutions should oversee ethics so that other countries also work with our engineers. As engineers, make sure you follow the ethics and rules of your profession. The goal is to protect the dignity of your profession. Wherever you do your work, standards and quality should be considered.
The Minister for Works, Innocent Bashungwa, says the government continues to improve regulations to enable local contractors and engineers participate in the construction of various governed projects.
We now have more flexible conditions on purchases, and there is a friendly conditions such that ingenious contractors can participate in the construction industry.
On the other hand, the president of the Institute of Engineers Tanzania, Engineer Dr. Gema Mudu, commends the government for its efforts to involve local engineers in the implementation of various development projects.
Kwa niaba ya taasisi ya wahandisi Tanzania, kushukuru na kutoa pongezi kwa serikali ya awamu ya 6.
I would like to thank and congratulate the government for smart and collaborative leadership in implementing her statement of Kazi Iendelee, which means let the work continue. We all see the momentum in building and sustaining the pace of development projects in the country. We are thankful for the increase of local content in various sectors.
The 14th International Conference of the Institute of Engineers Tanzania, IET, brings together engineers and design technicians from government institutions and the private sector with the aim of learning, discussing, evaluating, and sharing experiences on engineering-related issues.
Tanzanian government has been commended for allocating more than 80 billion Tanzanian shillings for the construction of the Mbamba Bay port in the Nyasa district, Ruvuma region. The project is one of the major strategic projects implemented by the government in the Nyasa district, Ruvuma region. Emmanuel Samuel is there and has prepared the following report.
The applause has been given by the chairperson of the board of directors of the Tanzania Shipping Agents TASAC, Captain Musa Mandia, when the board made a visit to the port to inspect the provision services in Lake Nyasa. The board says that the completion of the port will strengthen the trade between Tanzania and the neighboring countries of Mozambique and Malawi.
The construction of a new port at Mbamba Bay is going to turn around the economy of Ruvuma as a region and Tanzania as a whole. We suggest that they put up a structure that will invite potential investors from the neighboring countries. We are also expecting the government to gear up the construction of the Mtwara corridor, which is going to connect the port of Mtwara and Mbamba Bay by rail.
Lake Nyasa Port engineer Fabian Poe explains the construction stage reached so far
is on almost 9%. The stage that have been reached, especially for the program that have been implemented on that project.
According to our plan and the progress, we expect to finish the project on time, 2026. January.
Nyasa District Commissioner Perez Magiri says that the port opens doors for investors from various sectors, while the citizens of Nyasa districts believe that the completion of the port is a great opportunity for them.
Our plan is to ensure that we create a good business environment, including access to a modern international market, so that businessmen from Malawi and Mozambique can reduce the time it takes to go to buy goods in Dar es Salaam and Tunduma. The port should be built and completed. Various opportunities should arise for the young people to be self-reliant.
Reporting from Nyasa district in the Ruvuma region, Emmanuel Samuel, TBC News.
Great news there from the Ruvuma region. Minister of State, the President's Office, Planning and Investment, Professor Gitila Mkumbo, says more than 1,170,000 citizens and development stakeholders have participated in the poll to identify government priorities in the next National Development Vision 2050, where the draft of the vision will be officially launched on December 11th in Zanzibar by the President of Zanzibar, Hussein Ali Mwinyi. He made the remarks in Dar es Salaam while briefing media editors on the progress made in the drafting of the vision, revealing that most of the recommendations given disclose people's desire to build a strong economy that will improve their lives.
This draft is not the final version. The next step is to move to the second phase of the gathering feedback from the stakeholders. This time, they won't just be asked randomly. They will be presented with the draft and the themes that have emerged. We will ask you, what do you think? Do you have any suggestion? Where should we improve? This phase is called the review phase for gathering feedback.
Furthermore, Professor Kitila elaborates that in the period of January to March 2025, the draft vision 2050 will be discussed, while from April to May 2025, the draft will be sent to the Parliament to be discussed and approved and finally launched in June 2025 by the President. The Ministry of Finance has signed 4 agreements with the French development agency AFD, consisting of soft loans and aid, with the total value of 118.8 million euros, equivalent to 323.4 billion Tanzanian shillings. Rehema Sababili has more details.
Signing the document in Dar es Salaam, the Minister of Finance, Dr. Mwigulu Nchemba, says the funds will be directed to the implementation of sustainable energy projects, together with the development of forestry projects and the maintenance of mangrove reserve. Minister Nchemba further states that 75.9 million euros will be used for the implementation of solar energy projects in the second phase, which is currently being implemented in the Shinyanga region. 39.9 million euros will also be used to develop the forest and mangrove conservation project, while the 2 million euros will be directed in the maintenance of the mangrove forest reserve and 1 million euros for the TANESCO Gender Action Plan under the development project of solar energy.
The agreement for phase 2, which we have just signed today, is very significant, and the implementation of this second phase is expected to generate additional 100 megawatts, bringing the total project to the capacity of 150 megawatts.
The Deputy Minister of Natural Resources and Tourism, Dastan Kitandula, insists that the funds will help to strengthen the preparation for carbon business, while the Deputy Minister of Energy, Judith Kapinga, adds that the funds boost reliable electricity supply network.
Forest plantation can significantly contribute to the economy through revenue collection, and as 50% of revenue collected by the government through TBS comes from forest plantations. Additionally, they support forest-related industries and export market.
The energy sector plays an important role in the socio-economic development in our country, as we are aware that the availability, affordability, and reliability of energy resources are very key to propel us towards incrementing our annual per capita income.
On the other hand, the French Deputy Ambassador Abdel David Guiloni said the French government will continue to cooperate with Tanzania in various projects, especially projects related to climate change mitigation and adaptation.
This is a project that is really at the core of French engagement in Tanzania, which is energy. Energy, AFD has been one of the, if not the biggest development partner for Tanzania in the field of energy.
Climate change is real, it is there. It is already hitting the country hard. And in this context, diversifying Tanzania's energy mix is a necessity to ensure universal access to a reliable, affordable and sustainable energy.
Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Rehema Sababili, TBC News.
From the commercial city, we move now to the capital city, where the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Energy, Dr. Doto Biteko, says electricity demand increases day to day due to the increase in economic activities in the country, hence calling for tax compliance amongst investors, traders and citizens to meet the national demands. Here are more details.
Dr. Biteko made the remarks in Dar es Salaam during the Conference on the Business and Investment 2024
involving government and the private sectors, where he has called on the Chamber of the Commerce, Industry and Agriculture in Tanzania to be at the forefront in encouraging tax compliance, as the government depends on the tax to implement development projects.
Uchumi unavyokuwa mkubwa na ninyi mkafanya biashara.
The bigger the economic growth, the more electricity is needed all the time. That's why the government has invested in the Mwalimu Nyerere hydroelectric power project. Despite of starting operations on 6 plants out of 3, the demand for electricity currently continues to be very high. The highest demand for electricity for the 8th month of last year was 1,408 megawatts. But currently, the demand for electricity in our country is 1,888 megawatts.
On the other hand, the president of the Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture says his chamber and the members are benefiting from improvement made by the government, especially in the port services, urging the government to establish laws and regulation to help the private sectors grow.
Lakini kimsingi kuna mabadiliko makubwa sana kwenye bandari ya Dar es Salaam.
There are very big changes at the port of Dar es Salaam. We congratulate the government of Tanzania for the great efforts that have been made, including creating friendly environment for maritime sector and at the port of Dar es Salaam.
In the conference, 5 memorandum of understanding have been signed between the TCCIA and the various institutions, including the College of Business Education, CBE, the Tanzania Revenue Authority, TRA, and the Occupational Safety and Health Authority, together with the Kamaka Industrial Park, for the purpose to strengthening business ties.
The Tanzania Port Authority has received a large cargo ship from China, namely Evergreen Line Group, with 4,000 containers, which is another indication of the improved performance of the Tanzanian ports. Here are more details.
Speaking immediately after receiving the ship, the Chief Fire and Safety Officer at Tanzania Ports Authority, Musa B. Boze, insisting that the investment made by the 2 private sector company has boosted efficiency of the cargo unloading process at the port.
This is a new ship built in October. This means it only has 2 months. This means this is a fast trip. This infrastructure has enabled investors to come and invest in our port. We have 2 operators of the port, namely DP World, and other company is the East Africa Gateway Terminal. These companies have increased our efficiency. Currently, the time the ship is saved has decreased. Various shipping companies want to use the Dar es Salaam port due to its efficiency.
Lakini kwa kweli sisi tuko tayari kupokea na kuihudumia.
We are ready to save this ship, which is a direct call from Far East. All of these are efforts aimed to ensure that our customers receive service quickly.
On the other hand, the manager of the Evergreen Line Group Tanzania branch, Mohammed Lofty, says recent investment made in the port of the Dar es Salaam has brought great revolution in large cargo handling.
We saw a lot of opportunity here in Tanzania to call back Dar es Salaam port by our own vessel. The vessel is brand new, just touched the water 2 months ago. It means we saw a lot of promising business here, to expand the business, to bring more cargo to Dar es Salaam port, with much thanks to all authority around, TPA, TASAC, Digital, Terminal, everyone, they gave us hand to make this happen.
The company that have invested in Dar es Salaam port, including DP World and Tanzania East African Gateways Terminal Limited.
Just in case you missed any one of our stories, remember you can always go to our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and watch anytime, anywhere. Now, before we conclude the local news, let's take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. For all the latest in exchange rates, make sure that you don't miss TBC News every weekday. It's time now for the international news. And here is international news as compiled and read by Lulua Mohammed.
International news starts in Africa. Millions of Ghanaians will cast their votes to elect their new president and representatives on Saturday. 12 candidates are vying for the position. However, a fierce competition is between two candidates, including former President John Mahama from the main opposition National Democratic Congress, NDC, and Mahamudu Bawumia of the ruling New Patriotic Party, NPP, who is also the vice president of the nation. The NDC and the NPP are the only parties that have ever won the presidency since the establishment of the multi-party system in 1992. Ghanaians are hoping for a smooth transfer of power to ensure that Ghana retains its reputation as stable democracy. To Europe, French President Emmanuel Macron vows to name a new prime minister in the coming days to prevent France from sliding deeper into political turmoil, rejecting growing pressure from the opposition to resign. Macron now faces the task for the third time this year of selecting a new prime minister and does not come up with a name in his address. And UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for a return to the UN-facilitated political process to end the bloodshed in Syria and produce a genuine nationwide ceasefire. The UN chief said that after 14 years of conflict, it is high time for all parties to engage seriously with UN Special Envoy for Syria to finally chart a new, inclusive and comprehensive approach to resolving this crisis.
Thank you very much, Lulua Mohammed, for the international news. Stay tuned now for all the latest in sports news. In sports news, pickleball players say this season's Open tournament has been very exciting, especially due to the participation of many countries from Africa, Europe, and Asia. The players told the TBC News that although the game is still relatively new in the country, it has been warmly received and the level of competition has significantly increased compared to previous tournaments.
It means a huge thing. The fact that this is the biggest pickleball tournament in all of Africa, this means a lot for us, in terms of getting pickleball on the map. Now we want people to understand that we have great players in Tanzania that can compete on the international stage. We have players going to India, to the US to compete. Next year I will be taking a Tanzanian team along with me to Egypt to compete.
It's amazing, biggest in the continent. Tanzania is putting a mark in the sport. We're going out and we're making sure that we stand out and we tell the world that Tanzania plays pickleball.
The Pickleball Open tournament involves more than 200 players, with Tanzania hosting the event. Great news there to see the pickleball game finally here in Tanzania, and it's flourishing. Chief Executive Officer of the Bagamoyo Institute of Arts and Culture, Tasuba, Herbert Makoye, urges artists to master international market penetration tactics, insisting that skills taught at his institute help them to conquer the market.
Provide more challenge to others who are in the industry, but also, they will learn from those who are already in the industry, but also those in the industry, we ask them to receive them and also to introduce, to mentor them once they join the industry.
For others designer, they needed to increase skills, so they support to come here in Tasuba and they study, to grow up, to get a knowledge like that, because if you want to do well, you support to get another knowledge.
Bagamoyo Institute of Arts and Culture, Tasuba, has been playing a key role in developing, preserving, and promoting Tanzanian culture and impact knowledge of the same to existing and future generations. And that's the sports news. Now, before we conclude the news bulletin for tonight, let's take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours starting from 9 p.m. tonight.
Viewers, and thank you for joining us for the next 24 weather forecast. By starting with windy patterns, and for tomorrow we expect the light wind of 20 km per hour. For Lake Victoria, Lake Tanganyika together with Lake Nyasa, and moderate wind of 30 km per hour for the entire coast. And the state of the sea is expected to be moderate. And for tonight, we expect areas along the Victoria Basin, western part of the country, central part of the country, together with southwestern highland, are expected to feature with partly cloud condition, thunder showers over a few areas, while for northeastern highland, northern coast, together with southern region, are expected to feature with partly cloud condition, rain showers over a few areas, while for the Rindi, together with Mtwara regions, are expected to feature with partly cloud conditions. And for tomorrow, we expect southwestern highland to feature with cloud condition, thunder showers over a few areas, and sun intervals. While for the areas around the Victoria Basin, western part of the country, together with central part of the country, are expected to feature as a particular condition, thunder showers over a few areas, and sun periods. While for northeastern highland, the entire coast, together with southern region, are expected to feature as a particular condition, rain showers over a few areas, and sun periods. Let us see the next 4 days forecast from different cities and regions. Dar es Salaam maximum temperature 33 degrees. Dodoma thunder showers are expected and maximum temperature 31 degrees. Mbeya thunder showers are expected and maximum temperature is 25 degrees. Mwanza maximum temperature is 30 degrees. Kilimanjaro maximum temperature is 31 degrees. Morogoro maximum temperature is 32 degrees. Arusha maximum temperature is 26 degrees. I'm Rebecca William from Tazama Meteorological Authority. Thank you and have a nice weekend and good night.
Thank you very much, Rebecca William, for the weather update. And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in case we're here at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Nasa Kingo. We wish you a good night and a constructive weekend.
Siku ya uhuru ni siku ambayo haitasaulika miongoni mwa wazee wetu waliokuwepo nyakati hizo. Baba wa Taifa Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere alijitolea kuona tunajitawala.
Jambo la kudai uhuru ilikuwa ni kuhatarisha maisha yako, ama kazi upoteze, ama ufungwe. Basi ikifika jioni, tunazunguka na gari, tunaimba Nyerere, 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 zidi kwenda yuno, Tanganyika ipate uhuru, ishara Mungu yupo, Tanganyika tutajitawala, Julius zidi kwenda yuno, Tanganyika tupate uhuru, inshallah Mungu yupo, Tanganyika tutajitawala. Unazunguka na imba nyimbo za msisimuko huo, unapita kwenye Mwanza hoteli ya zamani ile. Kazi yenu kuimba, mmetulia tu, uhuru. Watu wanasema wahara. Na ukimwona askari kweli anakuja kwako, kama unakula ugali utaanguka chini mkononi.